Grease wasn't just a high school musical. It was a $6 million gamble about teenage hormones played by actors old enough to pay mortgages. The cast lied about their age. The set sent people to the hospital. The ending makes no physical sense. And at one point, Danny Zuko was supposed to die. These are 15 weird facts about Grease. And the bonus? The movie almost ended as an R-rated animated tragedy. This wasn't nostalgia. It was chaos in a poodle skirt. Number 1. They weren't teenagers, not even close. Riddell High looks like a high school. It wasn't. Stockard Channing was 33 playing 17. Jamie Donnelly was 30 and going gray. The crew filled her roots with black crayon. Olivia Newton-John was 29 and demanded a screen test to make sure she didn't look too old. Hollywood didn't cast teens. It cast professionals who could handle 14-hour days under 1970s lighting. That's why Rizzo feels real. Because she wasn't pretending to be grown up. She already was. Number 2. Sandy was rewritten because of an accent. Sandy was supposed to be American. Sandy Dombrowski. Jersey Girl. Olivia Newton-John couldn't nail the accent, so instead of replacing her, they rewrote the character. One accent problem turned into an Australian transfer student. Problem solved. That tiny rewrite changed the chemistry of the film. Sandy became the outsider, and the outsider always changes the system. Number 3. Elvis almost played a literal angel. The teen angel role, the glowing crooner floating above beauty school dropout, was originally offered to Elvis Presley. The man Danny Zuko was imitating was almost cast as an actual angel guiding him. Elvis passed. Months later, he was gone. And the day the news broke, the crew was filming Rizzo singing, "Elvis, Elvis, let me be." Director Randall Kleiser later said the set went completely silent when someone came in with the news. Everyone knew. Nobody spoke. And then they kept filming. A song written to tease a living legend became, in one afternoon, something else entirely. Grease pretends to be light, but it keeps brushing up against ghosts. Number 4. 3 major stars said no. Marie Osmond rejected Sandy because she hated the ending. She didn't like the message of changing yourself for a guy. Carrie Fisher was considered, but Princess Leia in a poodle skirt felt wrong. Almost every safe, wholesome option walked away. Grease didn't want safe. It wanted chemistry. And chemistry is unpredictable. Number 5. Hopelessly Devoted was a contract demand. Sandy didn't originally have a big ballad. Olivia Newton-John did. She required a solo in her contract. So her producer wrote, "Hopelessly Devoted to You," mid-production. The rest of the cast had already moved on to other jobs. That's why she sings it alone in a backyard. It wasn't loneliness in the script. It was scheduling. And that contractual demand became the film's only Oscar nomination. Number 6. The finale didn't exist until shoot day. "You're the One That I Want" was written at the last second. The original ending song was scrapped. Producers wanted something bigger. The carnival was already built. The cast was already on set. They heard the song for the first time that day. The choreography? Thrown together in about 20 minutes. That explosive energy at the end? It's real. Because nobody knew what they were doing. Up to this point, it sounds messy. Now, it gets dangerous. Number 7. The heat sent people to the hospital. The bandstand competition was filmed in 116-degree heat. No air conditioning. Wool suits. Layers of hairspray. Next door? A slaughterhouse. The crew's options were simple. Open the windows and smell death. Or keep them closed and roast. Several cast members collapsed. Michael Tucci ended up hospitalized for dehydration. That glow on everyone's face? Not Hollywood lighting. Survival. Number 8. The drag race was a biohazard. The LA River looked cinematic. It was stagnant runoff. Director Randall Kleiser cut his foot walking barefoot on the concrete, kept filming, then directed the next day with a 101-degree fever. Annette Charles, who played Cha-Cha, checked herself out of the hospital to shoot the scene, then returned after filming. Doctors discovered an ectopic pregnancy requiring emergency surgery. She finished the scene first. Grease smiles on camera. Off camera, it bled. Number 9. Coca-Cola had to be erased, frame by frame. The diner was dressed with Coke logos, but the studio had a Pepsi deal. Reshooting was too expensive. So they manually blurred Coca-Cola signs using optical mats directly on the film. Pre-CGI damage control. You can still see the rotoscoping. Corporate warfare in a milkshake bar. Number 10. The pink ladies were never supposed to be pink. Originally, the costumes were realistic, muted, period accurate. Director Randall Kleiser rejected them. He wanted saturation. He wanted jukebox energy. So the pink ladies became neon mythology instead of history. Grease doesn't show the 1950s. It shows the 1950s as remembered through pop culture. That difference is everything. Number 11. Danny Zuko was supposed to die before Paramount bought the rights. Animator Ralph Bakshi had them. His version was dark, adult, fully animated, and it ended with Danny Zuko taking his own life. That was the pitch. Co-creator Jim Jacobs hated it. Producer Alan Carr paid $200,000 out of pocket to rescue the property. Without that decision, Grease becomes a cult adult animation about despair. Instead, it became a sing-along. One business move rewrote cinematic history. Number 12. Greased Lightning destroyed a career on Broadway. Greased Lightning belonged to Kenickie. Jeff Conaway had actually played Danny Zuko in the stage production, then stepped aside when Travolta was cast, taking the smaller role to stay in the film. At least he'd still have his showstopper. Then Travolta wanted that too. Conaway resisted, then gave in. During filming, Conaway injured his back. Doctors prescribed painkillers. That injury sparked an addiction that followed him for decades. Travolta became a global icon. Conaway paid a different price. Not all spotlight stories are equal. Number 13. Sandy's pants were sewn onto her. The black leather pants were real 1950s vintage, one pair. No backups. The zipper was broken. So every morning, Olivia Newton-John was sewn into them. Bathroom breaks required a full crew intervention. She danced the entire finale stitched into decades-old fabric. In 2019, those pants sold at auction for $162,500. Broken zipper included. Number 14. It held the musical crown for 40 years. Grease cost $6 million. It became the highest-grossing film of 1978. Beat Superman. Beat Jaws 2. It dethroned The Sound of Music after 13 years. And in the US, it remained the highest-grossing live-action musical for nearly 4 decades. A teen movie about summer romance ruled the genre for 40 years. Studios couldn't replicate it, because lightning doesn't strike twice. Number 15. The flying car has no explanation. The car flies. No warning, no logic, no setup. Director Randall Kleiser has been asked about it for decades. His answer? Basically, why not? It wasn't in the stage musical. The movie just decided reality was optional. The internet invented a theory that Sandy drowned at the beach, and the whole movie is her dying hallucination. Co-creator Jim Jacobs shut it down hard. He said whoever came up with that must have been on acid. Olivia Newton-John found it hilarious. She called it the first zombie musical, and said she'd be very upset to know she'd been dead the whole time. The car flies because Grease says it does. And the audience accepted it. That's power. Bonus fact. Without Alan Carr buying the rights, without rewriting Sandy, without that last-minute finale song, without cutting the animated suicide ending, Grease doesn't become a cultural monument. It becomes a forgotten experiment. The version we know survived dozens of decisions that could have killed it. That's not nostalgia. That's luck weaponized. Grease wasn't realistic. It wasn't safe. It wasn't planned perfectly. And that's exactly why it's still here.